Another skill that's really valuable to have is to use a kneaded eraser and to be able to sort of sharpen the kneaded eraser. And the way you do that is to roll it in your fingers and sort of pinch the end as you roll. And that lets you get, a really fine point to the kneaded eraser. And you can experiment with, how big a piece of the kneaded eraser you're using. When I was first starting out, I found it a lot easier to just take a really small piece and I could sort of roll it into a tube this way. It felt a little easier to control. Once I got really used to the motion, it didn't seem as important to, get this smaller piece. I could sort of just take the end of any piece and do it. But at first, it was a little awkward to do that. So you may want to try like a smaller piece like this. And you can play with a couple different things. If you press too hard while you're doing it, if you press really hard, the tip gets really sharp, but it's like too flimsy to do anything with. So you can play with how sharp you make the tip, which is basically sort of how hard you're pressing as you roll it back and forth. And the other thing you can play with is sort of how long the overall sort of tentacle, I guess, for lack of a better word. You can make a really long one like this, even though the point itself is not super duper sharp. And when you do this, it actually allows you to, it's almost like it allows you to do more subtle erasing this way because you're not pressing, you just can't press as hard this way. So it can be useful sometimes to make like a long, skinny thing like this to do your erasing. And you'll find that, there's only so many times you can erase with this before you have to sort of re-sharpen it. And you get used to doing it over time. It becomes real quick, but you may need to practice it a little bit at the beginning.